And, they can retest the zone here, or there might be a lower zone in there somewhere. But this is going to be your range to take your sell. So take a look at this. Perfect example right here. This box right here, we closed above it. We got a change of direction, closing below, and the market came back for another confirmation to take that sell of over 100 pips. 100 pips. Okay. There was so many confirmations. What else we had? Euro AUD. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen. Okay. What didn't we have this for yesterday? Didn't we have this play on Euro AUD yesterday? Okay. How many of you were able to capitalize on this? Okay. Euro AUD in the zone. Okay. We said we can go as high as that level. So it's about 50 pips. Angie, you're in that now. Congratulations. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. When the pattern is near, when the pattern appear, the profits are near. When the pattern appear, the profits are near. What do we see? We can clearly see that this is the face. When you see that face, oh man, when you see that face, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, you got to love it. You said, where are these ideas posted? Well, they're here live on the call. I give them out live on the call. Okay? This is why I stress our entry points. I give them out live on the call. Okay? That's why it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, when we're live on these calls, take notes. Aga, you're in that too? Congrats. Let's go. Good job. Good job. All right. EuroCAD. What were we thinking on EuroCAD? What were we thinking on EuroCAD? Okay. I think that was also. Okay. Yes. Okay. We were thinking bounce off of this level because the market was here yesterday. All right. The market was here yesterday. All right. During our session, it was right here. So we needed that number 4 to do what? Bounce off this level, shoot up to the range, and then we were looking for sales down. Yes. Yes. I remember this one. This market did exactly. Let me clean this up a little bit. I know sometimes it may look a little messy, but we were, if you were on the session yesterday, it made sense. If you were not on the session, then this won't make sense. Okay, yeah, this is the one we had a ton of confirmations with. Yes, this one here, basically the sell was the violation here. We got the violation, close below, and then I'll just take this box right here and put it there. Now, does that make sense? Look at the shoulder. Look at the pattern now. This system creates the pattern for you. Okay? So you would have seen something that looked like this. One, it's this one right here. There's 3, always at the high. Did 4 close below number 2? The answer is yes. And then where's 5? Right in here with 1. Okay? So that trade right there is giving you at least 37. Okay? That's right. It's giving you at least 37 pips of pure pleasure. Okay? I like how they came right down to the zone where we were expecting to bounce, and they went up to give us our entry. That was good stuff right there. I would like to see them come back, hit this target. Total target profit, we're looking at around 70 to 80. If they want to be generous and give us target number 2, target number 2 would be around 184. So on EuroCAD, we do have, like I said, target here. And let me see. Yeah, that's it. Let me go ahead and resave this. Now, if this market does break structure here, okay, if they do break structure around the zone, all right, let me adjust my targets. I had my fibs in the wrong place. All right. So target 1 was hit once already. They hit target one already. So if you were in that trade, target 1 off the level, target, boom. So that target was, about 55 pips. Now, if they break this level, okay, this is where for the people who got in right here, this could have been your test trade. Okay. Your test trade could have been, just a test, something that you don't mind losing. Okay. I don't mind losing 10 pips. It's $1. I don't mind losing 30 pips. It's $3. If my account balance is $5,000, what is losing $3? $3 is teaching you discipline. Okay. So now my test trade, you lose whatever you can afford to lose. Let's say it's 0.01. Okay. Test trade for the sell. Now, once that market closes below this level, I'm also closing below this inverted head and shoulder pattern right here. These is where the buyers came in at. So if I'm closing below that level, that's telling me at one point we had buyers in that zone. Stop losses are where? Below this level right here. So how do we fuel the sellers? How do we give them more energy? We give the sellers more energy by placing all of the stop losses in this area. What are stop losses? Stop losses is money. That's all it is. It's money. So if all of this money is here, the market went all the way up to the high. They went all the way up here and grabbed all of the money. So if they're saying, well, I'm up here, there's no more money, what do? Oh, I just heard the poor people just got their income tax check. Where are the poor people? At the bottom. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go and get them. And then here they come. Right here. Yeah. That's right. Here they come. The angry people. Roar! I see them. I see them. No, I worked hard for this money. I worked hard. Give me Give me the money. Give me the money. So now, as they're running down, grabbing all of the money, meaning the stop losses are getting hit. Okay? Stop loss is getting hit. What do we see on the charts? We're going to see a large red candle pushing where? To the next zone. Okay? When that market comes down to that zone and hit that level, you know what they're saying?
No.
We back. So now, but look, doesn't it feel like that? When your stop loss is getting hit, don't you feel like somebody's on the other side laughing? You're like, what? And then, guess what happened? That market comes back to that level. You've been putting in, you're so addicted. You fell in love, okay? You fell in love with that buy opportunity. This is you. You said it's going to keep buying. It's going to keep buying. You're so in love right here that the market is moving down to a lower level. You're still buying, and the market is saying,
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Exactly. So now when it come down to this level, this is where the buys come in at, and now you don't even have enough money to re-enter that trade for the right move. Okay? You don't have enough money to re-enter that right move, and you don't even see that we've changed directions. Okay? So listen to the market. I don't care if you don't listen to me. Look, listen to the market. They're telling you a story. They're teaching you. They're teaching you discipline. Okay? Perfect. All right. Type inside the chat box, ladies and gentlemen. Inside the chat box, the pair that you are looking to trade today. Ooh. Ethereum, I hope you guys played this. I hope you guys played this Ethereum. That was beautiful. Good job, Lorenzo. Good job. Why was this a good play on Ethereum? It's so many confirmations. Number one confirmation, okay? We got the bears right here. Push the market down, break a structure. We got the violation of the bulls right there. The violation right here. Now, what if I was to take this box, this blue box? Wasn't we violated? Didn't they close below? Yeah. So now I'll bring it all the way across just like that. Turn everything else off. It's my buyers, right? Now, here's the starting point right here. That's the starting point that pushed the market lower. Ladies and gentlemen, did we get a change of direction closing above that starting point? Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you a beautiful sniper entry on Ethereum, and that's the 4-hour time frame. Now think about this. The market just came down. You are late to the party. You are late to the party. Again, some people who are late to the party, and I could tell you right now, what if I told you that Ethereum was going back up to $5,000 and you see that it's at 4,500? What are you going to do? Some of you are going to jump in right now. Some of you are going to jump in right now, and the market is going to say, no. Exactly. Don't let that market laugh at you. But there's something else that you can do. You can drop that vertical. You can drop that vertical right there. Don't forget about the vertical. You see, we got data on the charts now. So now I'm looking at this and saying, okay, I got my starting point over here. So this is going to be my 4-hour target. 4-hour target. Okay, it's my 4-hour target. Now think about this. Now you're probably saying, how is that my 4-hour target when I'm not even in the trade yet? Slow down, grasshopper. I got you. We're going to build you up to that level. Okay, perfect. So let's remove this for a second. Let's remove this, okay? Because we already know that the market came here for the buys. We missed out on it. We weren't minding our business. Okay, so now we know that this is the 4-hour target. We also know that this is a 4-hour breaker structure to the downside. Okay, 4-hour BOS. Okay, and we are very detailed when we do this, because when you drop to a lower time frame, I don't need you walking up to this 4 hours saying, "Hey, I'm on a 1 hour. What you doing over here?" All right, mark your charts up. So now, be very detailed. So watch this. Now we can go down to a lower time frame. We did everything we needed. Starting point, breaker structure, entry right there, right? Now let's drop lower, because what we're trying to find, we're trying to bring this area, this target, we want to bring it as close as possible to the entry. Okay? So let's drop down. 2 hour. It's still the same. Nothing really changed. All they did was give us what we already know by clicking the BOS and the zone right there. So that's all they did. Okay, they marked the level right there. I might just put this here because they might use that 4 hour to reject. Let's put that there for a second and I'll be back. I'll leave that there. All right, so now, even though it's the same, let's drop even lower, 1 hour. The 1 hour starting point and breaker structure is in the same area. See, this is why it's very important. Look at that. Your 4 hour BOS lines up with the 1 hour. Same thing. Okay. Perfect. Looks the same. All right. Okay. Now I'm on the 1 hour. Let's drop down. 30 minutes. We're going to see a change. No change. Well, it did change to here. They, using this level right here instead. Okay. But they still didn't hit it yet. No worries. But I still don't see an opportunity for me to enter. Well, maybe I do, because right here, remember, what are we looking for? The last zone before we touch this level. Oh, so on the 30 minute, this vertical is supposed to be here. You can always adjust it. Click on the BOS. Oh, we got to break a structure right there. Okay, so now what does the market give me? This low, this high, lower low, change of direction, and then now I know 5 is here, but look at this. Let me zoom in. Okay, from this wick up to here. Ooh, they still missed it. But they closed above the high. This is what I was telling you. Sometimes they'll grab that zone. Sometimes they'll grab that level and take off like they did today. But just be patient, because this is just their start. They go and grab this because some people are going to be waiting for them to do what? Come back to that level again. Some people are going to be waiting for them to come right back here once again. But if they're already taking out that level, well, this level, if they're already taking out that level, they're just going to flip it and bring it down lower now. This is going to create that drawdown for you. Okay? So now, what I want to see is, they already took off. I want to see them come back, tap into it, and then we take that move. Okay? Once you find your setup, your entry, okay? If you're using this as your entry point, go back up to your higher time frame so you can find that target. Remember that 4 hour target? It's right there. So if they give you that retest here, you can swing this all the way up to your 4 hour target. And your 4 hour target is telling another story. Okay? Well, this is your 2 hour time frame, but it's telling another story over here. All right? So that's why these targets are in place. All right, you say you had an alert on USD CAD. Let's take a look at UCAD. All right, UCAD. All right, let me see your alert on UCAD. One 38800 1388. Okay, so you had an alert for UCAD in this area. Perfect. All right, good stuff. I understand why you have your alert there. Okay, I understand. But you also got to understand something as well. Okay? The market is working. The market is working. And you don't want nobody to go to your job and rush you to do your job. Okay? You got to understand, you got to understand something as well. The market is working. The market is working. And you don't want nobody to go to your job and rush you to do your job. Okay? The market is working. And you don't want nobody to go to your job and rush you to do your job. Okay? They got a job to do at this point. They created a high in this area, drop down. Okay, that low right here, I'll show you in a second. Basically, it really looks like this. And I know some of these things you guys are probably seeing for the first time. Okay, that's the last buyer candle that we took out. So if that's the last buyer candle, it looks like this: drop, pullback, drop lower, change of direction. Buyers were supposed to come in where? Right there. So if buyers were supposed to come in at that zone, which is my right shoulder, if I extend this over, isn't that a sniper entry because the stop losses got taken out? They got to pick up all. Look, if you are a garbage collector and you're driving through the neighborhoods to pick up the garbage, you're driving through the neighborhoods to pick up the garbage. You gotta go to every single street. Can't find my garbage truck, but it's okay. Okay, meaning that there's money that was violated here. So what do we have to do? That's the violation. What else did we talk about? That large candle, right? What percentage? Oops, wrong tool. That large candle, what percentage of that did they give back? Here's a 25 right here. That's the 25. Now they're in what? They already gave you 25. They gave you 25% right there. They're in that 50% now. This is exactly what I shared with you guys yesterday on the call. And look what 75% is at. 75 give you that area where you want the market to come back to. This is exactly what I shared on yesterday's call. Let this market work. Okay? When we let it, look, here's the thing. Here's what I want you to do. Okay? Because sometimes what we have to do as professional traders, okay, as professional market analysts, that's what we are. We are professional market analysts. We analyze the charts looking for patterns. We're pattern specialists. What we have to do, ladies and gentlemen, we have to set an alarm where we want the market to come back to. And then we also have to set an alarm on our phone. And that alarm on our phone, it's like, hey Siri, I need you to set an alarm on my phone for... No, wait, Siri, stop rushing me. Set me an alarm on my phone for 2 p.m. And then that alarm goes off, and once that alarm go off, it has to say, hey, stop looking at your phone. Your price alert didn't go off yet.
I've deleted your 2 p.m. alarm.
What in the world, Siri? You messing me all up. But y'all see what the point I'm trying to make is this. Set an alarm saying, hey, look, get off the charts. I'm done for the day. Once your alert goes off and it tells you that the price is there, that's when you can open up your computer. That's when you can open up your phone. But if you're trading 50 trades a day, that's not boot camp. That's not someone who's, oh man, you think just because you're looking at the charts, that's dedication? No, that's a recipe of you in greed training. You're training yourself to become a greedy trader. Okay? Oh yes, it does. You're training yourself to become a trader. Oh man, I got to get in here. Find something else to do. Just walk around, go to Home Depot, go to Walmart, and just walk around, because you're gonna want that urge to look at the market. Give your eyes a break from the charts. I know you want this bad, but schedule a time. Okay? Schedule, ladies and gentlemen, unless my alarm went off to tell me something about the market, I don't look at charts at 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to start my day looking at a chart. My schedule to look at a chart is 1 p.m. 1 p.m. is my schedule. Why? Because that's when I'm on live looking at charts with you. So if I'm looking at charts from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., why would I go back at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then come back at 9 p.m. and look at them again? 10, 11, 12. You have to understand what you're doing to yourself, because this market does not care about your feelings. Okay? Does not care about your feelings, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's take a look at Chef JPY. They still in the range. Okay? We're going to need something big. Yesterday we talked about Aussie. Aussie had news yesterday. You guys remember, we had news and we needed them to get out of that level. So let's take a look at Forex Factory real quick. And let's go over to our news. Aussie, they're still having news. No, tonight they're having news at 9 p.m., 9:30. So when you see a pair, when you're looking at the news and you're saying to yourself, okay, which pair is having news? I use that as an indicator. Here's why. Because if I know that Aussie is having news tonight, I can go back over to my chart, and now I want to look at the Aussie index by itself. So I'm going to go and look up the Australian dollar index by itself, which is the AXY. Okay? Which is the AXY. You want to look at the country's index by itself before you look at it as a pair. Okay? Because you may think, oh man, it's going to drop because the US dollar is stronger. Well, the US dollar could only be, let's say it's only stronger than the Australian dollar. That doesn't mean that it's stronger than all currencies. So we're going to go over here and click on AXY, which is going to be the Australian dollar currency by itself. Now, I like to look at this on the daily time frame, as we did see it yesterday, and we saw buy opportunities. Okay, so perfect. It's doing exactly what we wanted it to do. All right, from yesterday. Beautiful buyers came in. So now I got this zone lined up. I dropped down to a lower time frame. Yep, buyers are cooking up right now. This is exactly what we expected yesterday. Okay, this is exactly what we expected yesterday. So the market was here. The market was here on yesterday's call, and we got, just as we did, that large candle. We're around that 25% pullback. A 25% pullback, all it is a continuation. A 25% pullback is a continuation. Okay? A 100% pullback is a reversal. So now, we know that the Australian dollar has news. We also have a level here. Stop losses are above this zone here. So as you can see, the market is reacting this area here now. News is at 9:30 p.m. tonight. Will that news push the dollar higher, or will it push it lower? Okay? And now you ask yourself the question, because all you have to do is wait for news now. Okay? That's all you're doing. You're waiting for news. You're not trying to be a part of news. Okay? You're not trying to be a part of the news. Your job is to wait for news, and then you go and you clean up the disaster. So if news pushed them higher, okay, we could start to look for areas like this. Said, okay, news, you want to push them higher? Push them right into my arms, right over here, around 63.36, okay? 63 Australian dollars. If news wants to force them lower, you ask yourself, where do you want to go? And we already marked up zones that we have this massive, massive candle. All right, 50% of this level would give me a nice pattern. Okay, look like they're trying to bounce, get the bankhead bounce off now. So you have a left shoulder here. Okay, this is the starting point that pushed them lower right here, but I just want to make it look nice and neat. Okay, boom. So now we closed above. If news pushed them lower, we could see them coming back to this range for a possible buy. Okay, we're on the Australian dollar. I'm not going to touch them now because I have no idea what's happening right now, as they don't have anything going on right now. But let's check. They may have some orange and yellow and gray folders happening behind the scenes that we don't know. Okay, Tuesday. Nope. 8:30. Oh, they got some pre-red folder news. So this could be an interesting night for the Australian dollar. Okay, pretty interesting. We know what we're going to be focusing on is the 9:30 news, though. The 9:30 news. We want to see how this truly affects. And then I want to show you the 9:30 news. The last time it came out was July 29th. July 29th. So I want to show you another trick. July 29th on the Australian dollar. Okay. So here's one more trick. I look at July 29th at 9:30. I want to see if the news, good news or bad news, okay, right around here. Wow, it's crazy. This gap that happened right here is where the news happened. Okay? Right inside of here. We don't even have a candle for that. So that was the gap. That was the 9:30 news in this area here. So now, I'm going to put here 9:30 news, July. This will give you an understanding to when news happen, you'll get a chance to see what happened and where it was going. So I'll just put a zone right here. So when I go back over to my higher time frame, come on, July 29th. Okay. All right, right here. When they pushed that market down, right in this area, why did they stop here? News happened for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you can see this is the news for July 29th? The news pushed them lower right into the zone. Do you see what they pushed them into? I'll help you out. This is the low. I'll go back. Did we cut the head off? This large green candle below is the head. Okay. All of this, left shoulder. So we had a low right here. Here's the high that pushed the market below it. Change of direction. Did we close above? Yes, we did. We closed above. Now, news came in to force the market lower. Boom, right there. And now we got our buy opportunity up to this level. So when you look at this news that happened on July 9th, Okay, that happened on July 9th. Where is it at? Was it good news or bad news? Was that news good news or bad news? It was bad. Okay? It was bad news. So what did that market do during bad news? It pushed the market lower. It was only bad news for the moment. It's not overall bad news. So when you look at the news and you see that the market is telling you, oh, we have bad news, okay, that doesn't mean just because we have bad news, it's only dropping for the news at that moment. Because what happens after the news? They rebounded. So when we look at a pair that on July 9th, if that was bad news, let's take a look at AUD, USD. Right here. Let's go over to July 9th and let's see if we had a setup based on that news. The Australian dollar got weak on July 9th. No, 29th. July 29th. Okay? So when we look at the Australian dollar by its against the US dollar, their overall currency got weak, creating a break of structure. Their overall currency got weak, creating the break of structure here. Now, the system automatically drew the break of structure here. We also see a breakout candle right here. We also see a possible left shoulder in this zone. Okay? With the buyers coming in after the violation in this level. Okay. Now, what else do we have? They pull back into the level. High, low, higher high, change of direction. I need them to come back here now. We're on the daily. The 29th pushed them lower. That was bad news for the moment. They rebounded. Was this a setup? Was this a setup so that we could break structure? So we can look to come back to this range, reaction off of this level, and then a smaller version in here? High, low, higher high, change of direction. So now I know that we want to sell in this area. After we got the close below here. So they did give you a small tap right there. Okay? They did give you an entry right in this level. Now they're looking to retest the zone again. They're looking to retest the zone again. We got news tonight. We got news tonight. This market has already given